right. You guys can get seated. Students, if you guys are standing back there, there's plenty of seats up in here if you want to get seated. I know that's a long time to stand. Couple of announcements real quick. In 2 weeks, Janet Schreckrick will be our speaker. She's from Kansas, has a great story to tell, so she'll be here in 2 weeks. But next week, our own basketball coach, men's basketball coach, Matt Keeley, will be bringing the message to Spirit Life. You want us to give us a preview or anything, Coach? You're all right? All right. We'll hear from him next week. So let's start off though in prayer. Let's pray. God, you've been good to us, and thank you for getting us through. Thank you for the messages we've heard. Thank you for the good things that you're doing on campus. Thank you for waking us up this morning to cooler weather. I thank you for your love for each and every one of these students. How amazing that is. And thank you for how much you care and how much you want to see them succeed, and more than that, how much you want to see them in paradise. Thank you, Lord, for your love and who you are. In your name, amen.
Good morning, OUAZ.
And welcome back from a week off of Spirit Life.
Today, our special guest is Russ Smith from City Church.
I'm Chris.
I'm Des.
And we are
OUAZ TV.
The OUAZ Activities Board and Student Government both have Instagram accounts, and we want you to follow them. This will help you keep up with the latest on campus events. Plus, to be entered into a drawing for a bill, that's $100, and 2 $25 gift cards. You must be following both Instagram accounts before midnight on Friday, October 28th, to be entered into the drawing. Winners will be announced at the November 2nd Spirit Life.
What about me? I follow both accounts. I want money too.
Ease up with the aggression. Individuals who are already following both accounts will automatically be entered into the drawing.
Okay. Monday Night Live. Monday Night Live went so well a few weeks ago that planning for another Monday Night Live 2 is in process.
Right. It will be October 24th at 8 p.m. There will be worship music, painting on vinyl, coffee, and hot chocolate.
Meet there outside the caf for brushes and ballads as we listen to worship music and paint. Small groups. Small groups have started Mondays in Cafe 60. Stop in at 6 p.m. for discussions about the Bible. Sports!
Around surprise. Tonight is the night. Our very own President Tyner will be throwing out the first pitch at Fall Ball at Surprise Stadium. Go down the street and check it out firsthand.
Don't forget to watch the surprise Saguaros take on the Peoria Javelinas. Use promo code Ottawa22 to get 20% off.
The OUAZ women's wrestling team will be hosting its annual Black and Orange inter-squad matches this Saturday at 1 p.m. in the Faith Arena. Last year, the team finished up at national runners-up. Come and see what all the excitement is about. Admission is free.
Unfortunately, all of our teams are gone for their matches, so good luck to them.
Go Spirit!
That's going to do it for another week of OUAZ TV.
Don't forget to stop by the Fan Shop to
Fang
check out...
Shop.
Fan?
Fang.
Whatever.
Have a spirit-sational day. These shirts are comfy.
All right. Thank you, OUAZ TV. Couple things that I do want to remind you of. There is one team, I think, in the state of Arizona this weekend. So if you wanted to travel to Flag, I believe, to see swim and dive, I think they're up there. So that'd be the closest game if you're having that itch to go see OUAZ play in something this weekend. Also, I just want to make sure, this is a record for those of you guys who don't know, and because you might not have got that announcement. And then this is kind of the vinyl that we were talking about. So Monday night, we're going to be painting on these. You could paint like a horizon, you could paint design. There's a little hole, you could pin it. We can pin stuff in the dorm, right? Pin maybe not nail, but maybe pin it up in your dorm room, and there'll be worship music that night and stuff. So just kind of come and hang out on Monday night. We have a guest with us today in our worship band. This is Jasmine Garvin. Can you give her a hand? She does worship music and helps out throughout the valley. She has different gigs, is that what they're called? Gigs?
Sure.
And gigs that she does. She's going to be at worship night doing a set too for us. So that would be pretty cool that you'll be able to hear her a little bit today and then see that on Monday night. The other announcement that concerned me a little bit, I don't know if it concerned you, Dr. Tyner's throwing out the first pitch tonight. And I'm kind of concerned. I'm concerned that we don't want him to embarrass us, right? Like, you've seen some first pitches on TikTok and different videos and stuff like that aren't very good, right? So I thought we'd use this time to practice a little bit. How about that? Can we give a clap for Dr. Tyner? Where's Zeke? I asked Zeke to help me come catch Dr. Tyner.
Here he is.
Let's go behind the S in Spirit Life. Yeah, I would move too. I agree, I would move too. Let's go through on the S. All right. I think I measured it out exactly. 60 feet 6 inches is about right there. So, all right, let's go. Heat on that one too. All right. We think he's ready. We think he's doing a good job. All right. Also today, I think we got we have a special announcement, opportunity, I would say. I've been talking with the guys from Youth Dynamics, and I'll let them tell you a little bit more about what their group is about and some opportunities that you might have with them. So, would you welcome Youth Dynamics to our stage?
Good morning. Alan, thank you for letting us take a little time here. My name is Kelly Shattuck. This is Ryan Bentley. We are with Youth Dynamics, which is a relational adventure youth ministry. We function currently in Washington, Idaho, and Oregon, and focus on youth, thus the youth ministry, and we focus on adventures using that to share the gospel. So, Ryan, what are you doing?
I have a mouse trap.
What? Would you? I'm trying to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, look, you've already got the distraction. Take it away. Tell them what you're doing with the mouse trap.
You want to hold it? Cool. Yeah, and what we do is we get to share the gospel and who Jesus is with young people by using mouse traps, whitewater rafting, expeditions, rock climbing, and such. And so we're out here right now looking to recruit and tell people about opportunities to serve in stateside mission fields. And then we get to share a little bit about risk tension zones. And sometimes you can get out of your comfort zone and into your risk tension zone with something as simple as a mouse trap. And so in those spaces, we can learn a lot about who Jesus is, about the gospel, and about community. And that's what really gets us excited.
Yeah, one of the things, obviously, the gospel is key and central to the work that we do in the Pacific Northwest. The gospel that saves us is the gospel that transforms us, right? So we take Jesus into the lives of these students using whitewater rafting, kayaking, rock climbing, skiing, to bring them out of their comfort zones and to step into that faith, what we call the faith tension zone, where the mind and heart are fully engaged to learn who Jesus Christ is, what he's done for them, and what we offer to them in that relationship. So today, you tell them about the...
Yeah, we're going to hang out after chapel here, and we can do a little challenge course where we can use mouse traps and other things to get us out of our comfort zones, even here in the front country. And then we're going to be around the next couple days, and if you have any interest in what we do and have more questions, I challenge you to step out of your comfort zone and approach us. We're going to even have the ability to go do some rock climbing in the local Phoenix area. We have limited spots available, but we'd love to get to know you, hear your heart, and travel alongside of you for a hot minute as you are looking to see how you might invest in the kingdom of God as well. So thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So if you're more interested in that, they also have other opportunities for summer and things like that. If that's something that is within you to do some outdoor adventure type stuff and be with students all summer, there's some opportunities there. They will be out in front of Scholars Hall in that grass area, and they'll have some different events, attentions that they were talking about set up. And they'll also have a table by lunch if you're interested to start talking to them. Our speaker today is not a guest of OUAZ. He has been here for a while, and he has done some great things and some great partnerships with us, has helped us out tremendously. And his church that meets right here in this gym on Sundays. So if you are looking for a space, I'm sure he can give you more information about that. But would you please give a warm OUAZ welcome to Russ Smith.
Good morning. Good morning. That's better. Hey, can we give Dr. Tyner a few more kudos on that pitch that he threw out? Come on. That was some very good stuff. In fact, we should expect nothing less from a true Red Sox fan. Yeah, I know. Also, I want to take a moment and just thank Alan Belter. He pours so much into you and into this campus. Can you guys give Alan some love? And has that guy got just the goatee of goatees? Like I am jealous of that thing. The only thing I'm not jealous of is I think that his hair just slipped down. You know what I'm saying? Well, as Alan said, my name is Russ Smith, and I pastor City Church. And City Church meets in this gym every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. And all of you are welcome. You don't have to believe to belong at City Church. We welcome you. 9:30 each morning we serve breakfast. 10:30 we kick off, and we would be honored to have you come, throw on your sliders, walk across the parking lot, and join us at 10:30 on Sunday morning. So please, maybe put that in your calendar. Something about me is I want to share with you is I love to laugh. I love to laugh. And one of the threats to laughter is anxiety. You don't need a lot of statistics, but I'm going to give you just two. 44% of college students in America today, 44% of college students in America today admit to having anxiety at accelerated levels. And I'm going to believe that you are an above average university, so maybe less than that. But that's still there, and it threatens our laughter. And I love that. Don't you love to laugh when it's inappropriate to laugh? Like, I don't know, at a funeral? Come on, and you're trying to hold it in. And sometimes you're holding it in too tight, so you kind of. Let's be real. But laughter, see, laughter has health benefits. It's good for us. It does lower anxiety. It lowers tension. It decreases tension. It helps people get rid of resting jerk face. I think Jesus had a great sense of humor. I really believe it. I think he loved to laugh. I think he had a great sense of humor. Look at the person on your right and the person on your left and tell me he doesn't have a sense of humor. Exactly. 1 in 3 people are funny looking, and if the 2 people next to you aren't, guess what? I'm just telling you the statistics. But here's the deal. I think Jesus loved to laugh. He was invited to a wedding. If he was a killjoy, he'd have never been on the invitation list. He showed up at a wedding with 12 teenage boys that were super inappropriate. Let me tell you what, 2 of his teenage boys were called the Sons of Thunder. You're a mess when that's your nickname. And he shows up at this wedding and he makes more wine. One translation says he was dancing. I don't think Jesus wants us to stop laughing. I think he put it in us for a reason. In fact, Psalms chapter 2, verse 4, it says, "He who sits in the heavens laughs." To me, that's good news. That's really good news. He who sits in the heavens laughs. I wonder, though, how often he laughs at me. Proverbs says this. Listen, this is so big from Proverbs. Proverbs says, laughter is good medicine. Like, we all know, we've experienced those times where we just had that deep, deep belly laugh, and we've just laughed and laughed, and got tears coming down our face. We're laughing, and somebody does something that is not even funny in a normal setting, but we just go even deeper into our laughter, and we laugh, and we get done, and we go like, whew, man, that was good. Because laughter is good medicine. It's good for us. But something happens as we grow. Something changes. It's proven that a child up to 8 years old, this is a study of a child from birth to 8 years old, laughs an average of 300 times a day. Watch this quick video. You're right, play this video. Make sure the sound is up. Watch this.
Aiden has $1 bill, 1 quarter, and 2 pennies. How much money does he have? Jaden broke.
Davier's broke. Children laugh up to 300 times a day, up to the age of 8. From an adulthood, age 18 and up, something happens in that 10 years from 8 to 18. And as an adult, age 18 and up, we laugh an average of 17 times a day. In 10 years, we dropped from 300 times a day to 17 times a day. That puzzles me. And then something happens when we become an adult. We start making statements that make no sense. Is that not true? Like, I became this adult and I had children, and my oldest child decides one day he's gonna mow the lawn for me. So I stand on the deck in my boxers with no shirt and my dress socks, and I yell at him, "If you cut your legs off on that lawnmower, don't you come running to me." He's like, "All right, Dad." I start asking my children when they're crying, "Do you want something to cry about?" And I realized, how did I go from from laughing 300 times a day or laughing 17 times a day to making statements that absolutely make no sense. I find myself, I read advertisements different than most people. Over on Litchfield, there's a laundromat. I'm not kidding, there's a laundromat. And they have a sign that says, "We do alterations, drop your pants here." I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But God gave us this incredible imagination. It's unlimited, and we can imagine so much. Listen, these cones over here. Listen, do you realize? Listen, if you go to the store, you need to show an ID to buy a can of paint. But we are all one click away from going to Amazon, getting some orange cones, and making traffic go whatever direction we want it. How creative can we be? Here's something that's not stealing. Put your bike lock on a stranger's bike. Do you understand the power we wield with bike locks? Like, you walk around with a bike lock, you can just go up to any Baskin Robbins and go, "You're closed." I grew up in a home that was abusive and violent and out of control. And then later in life, and quite honestly, to be completely transparent with you, just this spring, April 19th of this spring, I was hit with an anxiety that was so high and took me to such a dark place. I actually ended up in the hospital for 7 hours trying to get ahead of this thing, and then it was a dark, deep place, and quite honestly, I didn't feel like laughing. Maybe you're in this room, and laughter's been stolen from you. Not of your own volition, perhaps what others have done to you or taken advantage of you. Not of anything that you had control over. I want to tell you today that laughter heals that. I can stand before you today and tell you I'm not completely healed from April 19th. But I can tell you part of my process is finding my laughter. Part of my process is using my imagination to think of things I shouldn't think of. Don't we all have that neighbor? That neighbor? Like, we have a neighbor, he comes over. Saw you were out of town last week. Girl, that's a little weird. They come over, "Hey, you put your garbage cans out on Thursday, not Wednesday." We all have that neighbor. I taught our neighbor a lesson. He came over one day and said, "Hey, just want you to know, my baby monitor picked up your voice last night on your cell phone." So I thought, all right, I'm done with this. I said, "Bro, I don't have a cell phone. But sometimes I stand in your kid's room and talk to myself." No more problems. When we were moving one time, and I had a buddy with me and helping me move. We're down in the basement, and when you have a basement, you put stuff down there and you forget you have that stuff. So down in the basement, we discovered the three M80s. Now, an M80 in the day was equivalent to a quarter stick of dynamite. So we asked, I wonder how far an M80 can shoot a screwdriver. So we got a pipe, and we lit an M80 and put it in the pipe. and put the screwdriver in the pipe. And boom, and it shot that screwdriver through a 1-inch board. The problem is the 1-inch board was my kitchen floor. I go running upstairs. There's the screwdriver. My wife is like, what if the dog had been sitting there? He'd have moved. We had 2 left, and we're like, what do we do with these last 2 M80s? And I'm thinking, let's light one, throw it in the toilet. And my buddy is like, no, tie them together, both of them. Like, yes, bro, that's a great idea. So we take the 2 M80s and we tie them together and we light them and we throw them in the toilet and we jump behind the shower curtain and we think this is going to be so good because we're imagining that the lid of the toilet is going to go wah, wah. Do you know when 2 M80s go off in the toilet that there's no more toilet? Which led to the question, what if we'd have flushed them? Whose toilet down the street would they have got? Can you imagine some lady just sitting on her toilet? Boom! I used to travel more than I do, and sometimes when I would travel, I would get scared because, well, frankly, when you're on an airplane and you go into the bathroom, there's a sucking noise in that bathroom. And if you plant on the toilet, like, it's vapor lock, you're stuck. They don't need seat belts in there. But then when you go to your hotel room and you leave your hotel room, somebody comes in and cleans your hotel room. And that made me a little bit fearful. So I found a way to overcome my fear. I found this in a hotel recently. It was on the toilet. And it says, for your protection. So now I sleep with it. Laughter is so good. Listen, I'm going to come in for a landing soon, and I want to give an opportunity to pray for you, but listen, does anybody in here collect, like you collect weird stuff? Like some people collect business cards, or some people collect baseballs, or some people collect trading cards. Anybody collect anything really strange? Like nobody really knows, but I collect this. We got a brother being, what do you collect over here? What's his collection? Come on, snitch on him. What's his collection? Let's have it. What's he collect? They collect excuses, the 2 of them. They collect excuses. So if you need one, I collect airplane barf bags. Listen, when you are going to go on an airplane, generally speaking, you're running late. So you got to stop and get something to eat. So you stop at the nearest fast food restaurant, and they give you your food in a bag about this size. Get your burger and your fries and your little dessert treat and maybe a drink, and you're pounded on the way to the airport. You just pound that thing as fast as you can because you got to get on the airplane. And you get on the airplane, and it doesn't happen every time. There's some turbulence. And in that turbulence, that burger, that fry, that dessert treat start telling you, I'm coming out. There are 2 exits, and I'm going to use one. And you feel it start coming up, and so you get food in a bag this size, and when you have to get rid of it, you're supposed to put it in the bag this size. Now, I collect them for a reason because here's one. This is a great one. This one says, after use, fold down the top. Call flight attendant to dispose of your bag. Following directions. Here's one. There's no English on this one. What if you're just not sure? You ever worry about people stealing your seat? This one says seat occupied. Please don't sit here. This one's got little, it doesn't even say anything. It was in an airplane and it's just got little dots on it that confuse you and make you more dizzy. This is one of my favorite barf bags right here. This is from, I'll say it, it's from Delta Airlines. On this side, it says for motion sickness. On this side, it says Sky Deli Snack. One airline got creative and made Christmas bags. And it's really cool because it comes with a see-through window. Like you can see how well you digest your food. And then there's this guy. This is the sick sack. It's called the motion sickness bag. It says if an upset stomach is anticipated, remove the sick sack from this container, keep it ready for use. Do not be embarrassed by this precaution, as lots of travelers are subject to motion sickness. Please follow the instructions. Regulate the air vent. Concentrate on objects at a distance. Sometimes it's those small areas in life that we forgot up to age 8 were humorous. And we've become 17 laughters a day, and it's created an anxiety and a stress that we can't land on. There's this guy in the Bible, his name's Nehemiah. In the 8th chapter of his book, in the 10th verse, Nehemiah says this: the joy of the Lord, that's my strength. The idea is to make it through what challenges us in life is to have his joy. The idea is to be able to face the challenges, the stigmas, the sarcasm, the loneliness, the paralyzation that anxiety brings. The only real remedy is his joy. I want to conclude with this. Book of Job. If you know anything about Job, he went through incredible trials, lost his children, lost his animals, lost all the buildings on his land, got diseases on his skin, had his 3 best friends tell him he was a loser, had his wife tell him that he just needed to die. And in the middle of that trial, Job says he knows about God. He will fill your mouth with laughter. Job knew something in the middle of probably the deepest recorded trial of all mankind. But there's one that will fill your mouth with laughter. I don't know where you are today in your faith journey, and I'm not going to assume anything. So in a moment, I'm going to call Alan up and allow him to conclude. I'm going to be right over here, and I would love to pray with you. Perhaps you're in one of those seasons of anxiety where you're paralyzed, or you're afraid to even tell anyone, or the stigma has you stuck in your dorm room. Or maybe you just need to meet this Jesus who fills our mouth with laughter. Out in the entryway, there'll be other City Church people. Please look for the City Church t-shirts, and They'll be giving you an invitation to church, but they're also willing to pray with you. But I do know this, that if 44% of college students today are struggling with elevated anxiety, there's some of you in here today that need someone to tell you they believe in you and they can help you on your journey. It would be an honor to be that voice. Will you pray with me? Lord, I thank you right now that your grace is so good. I thank you that you have a plan and a destiny for every young adult in this room. And I pray that we break off some paralyzing anxiety today, that we restore some laughter, some joy, and that joy becomes our strength. And that we can't leave here the same today because we've heard the truth, that the God who loves us will fill our mouth with laughter. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Test. Check. I'm a little bit scared to get too close to the barf bags, but there's a difference between what he's talking about, laughter and joy, and just being happy. Like, you can be happy because you're going to have pizza for lunch, or that you're dating somebody you like, or that you're starting on your team. But those are temporary things. Joy is something deep down that you got forever. And so I hope that you can relate to what that's talking about. Meet Russ if you need to pray with him. There's other people outside. Youth Dynamics will be down at the cafeteria in the grassy part if you wanted to participate in that. Thank you guys for coming. You're dismissed.